All right, familia, let's go. Let's start to attack this webinar straight away. Put your cameras on, put your cameras on, put your cameras on. What's happening, everyone? We're at the open office space, late night snacks, late night snacking here in Mindelo. Put your cameras on. Come on, guys, what are we doing? Recording in progress. Here we go. All right, familia. Today, what are we doing? Come on. Only me and Linda is gonna have cameras on. We're gonna talk to black screens today. What is this? Put your cameras on. I'm not black screens. What type of game is this? Is here Linda's on a ski slope. She has her mount. She has her camera on. What are we doing? Look, David is in jail. David has his camera on. What are we doing? Come on, familia. What kind of game is this? What's up? What's up? All right, guys, queens, champs, and champs ladies. Today's webinar, we're going to talk about how to optimize your day-to-day routine, how to really establish rock solid training routines. Essentially, what I'm going to run over is I'm going to run over my entire day. Things I do every day and how I squeeze in what seems to be a ridiculous amount of training, waking up dead early and getting good balanced lifestyle. And you know, guys, you know I keep saying balance is 100% individualized things. So first thing I want to ask is, when you guys hear me speak like this, how does that sound versus when you hear me speaking like this? What is the best sound? Is it better now or was it better before? Or is it pretty much the same? Number two, is better now. It's better now, is it? Okay, interesting. A little bit better now. Okay, cool. All right. So, but before we do that, you know what we always do. We're gonna kick things off with the wins. And Erlinda, you were the first to join the webinar, I think it is. So we're gonna have you kick things off first. What is the win for the week? Or what is one lesson for the week?
I know I shouldn't be focused on numbers, but as far as my weight is concerned, but yeah, I hit 124 and I haven't been that weight in like, I don't know, maybe like 5 years, maybe. No, not 5 years, maybe like 2 years since the pandemic. So, and I think it has to do with I'm doing a lot more walking, and that has been an easy way to just get and being in the sun and just being more active, not sitting.
It does miracles for you. Going out, staying out. It's really, really one of those things that is like, wow, like just adding a couple of extra steps within the day. And this is exactly what things we're going to talk about, like how I managed to hack the days. And so this is a great start. And that's awesome. You're doing this during your lunch break, correct? That's awesome. Give a round of applause. That's awesome. Raluca, you up next, Champagne. What's going on?
Hi. So the win of the week was doing almost all of my workouts last week.
That's awesome.
And the lesson of the week was, yeah, battling my own mind. I don't know who's winning yet, but yeah.
So far it's 1-1.
Yes, exactly.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, well, listen, we all get a battle of mind on the daily. So give her a round of applause, everybody. Give her a round of applause. My win for the week is that I've been. My win for the week is that. What's going on here? No, you're not. Det handlar inte om du missade, det handlar om att du hörde på ljudet på. So my win for the week is definitely that I had a fucking killer workout, a brutal bag workout, which is one of by far my most fun way of training, doing heavy bag training like martial arts. It's so fun, so fun. I'm enjoying it so much. I did that, and yeah, that's my win for the week. And my lesson is really just like the importance of keeping my own balance, because I know there's so like These so small things that if I don't do them, I'm not feeling well. Like if I skip meditation a few days in a row, I don't feel well. If I don't work out a few days in a row, I don't feel well. If I don't take my time to be alone, I don't feel well. And it's even like I need to work out alone. Like I just need that. Not all the day, not every day, is not what I'm saying, but it's like I'm constantly around people. It's like I don't feel well. I don't feel well. I feel overstimulated. Like I need to, which is a big win for me because that's how I stay fucking mentally sane, and I'm able to produce these results that we factually keep producing. So yeah, that's very well said. But that I mean that's the week for this. No, it was last. No, yeah. I did. I was not dancing. That joke. I didn't dance like I danced there since a year and a half, probably a year and a half. Last time I danced that much. So it was really fun. Went there and smacked people. And there's a battle coming up the 29th of this month. So by the end of this month. And yeah, I'm going. Somebody I had a few friends there. They asked me, they're like, hey, it's a hip hop battle. I'm like, yeah, I know. They're like, so you gonna compete? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, somebody gotta win. Somebody gotta win. I guess. Fuck out of here. What type of question is it? Of course I will. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that one a lot. So with that being said, speaking about balance, is honestly really this that inspired this talk. I've been saying for the longest time that there is no balance. I would like to withdraw that statement and instead say that there is balance, but that balance is 100% certain, individual, and is constantly changing. There is no work-life balance that is universal, that everybody can attain to, or everybody can just tap into. This is 100% individualized things. And today, what I'm going to talk about is really some tips and tricks I use to be order to stay on top of my own game, and how to incorporate rock solid health routines, even if I have a fucking busy schedule. Some of you guys been with me for years, or at least following us for years. You never once see me out of shape. You never once see me like this is health, right? So you never once see me like being destroying my own mental health. I haven't always been rock solid, but I've been for the longest time with my physical health. Yes, rock solid for fucking sure. But mental health is a little tougher. But with that being said, where I am now and the tools I have now and the framework that I'm operating under, it makes my life a hell of a lot easier. It makes my mental strength a lot stronger. And I'm not going to work less in the next 20 years. So I need to do what I need to do. And this is what I do every day, from morning to night. So this won't be the longest webinar. So we're going to drop more Q&A afterwards. But in order for you to master delayed gratification, in order for you to be able to dance for the longest time, in order for you to be there to play with your grandkids if that's what you want, or to just have a fit body when you get older, or don't break your hip when you are X amount of years old and fall, which is a very normal thing. This is what you need to do. First things first. I'm going to start from the morning and then rock all the way until nighttime. Yes, and at any time, feel free to unmute yourself at any time. If you just joined, put your cameras on. It's getting annoying. Come on, guys. Put your cameras on. Don't be goofing around over here. So this is, again, what I do every day in order to stay on top of my game and how to establish incredible health results. First things first. Number one, wake up. Boom. First thing I do, I put my alarm on the other side of the room. I don't snooze. If there is a moment where I'm snoozing, it's not a snooze like 5 minutes. It's really like, I need another hour of sleep. Yes, it's not like never 5 minutes for what? 10 minutes snooze for what? Like, what are you talking about? What is that? Like, that gives me nothing. The first thing I do is to put my alarm watch on the other side of the room. Second thing I do is that I obviously go and turn that on, I turn it off. Then I hit the kitchen straight away and I drink water. I drink a lot of water straight away. And I have a bottle of water that I keep with me at all times throughout the morning, a 1 liter, which is like a fourth or a third of a gallon, whatever that is. And I keep that with me all the time, and I'm going to come back to it frequently. At this moment, I still haven't turned on the lights. Like, I wake up at 5:30. So I'm still like slowly but surely easing into the mornings. Spend a little time, spend a few minutes in the kitchen, just drinking water, just waking up. Then I go to the bathroom. And then I start my like, okay, it's time to start the machine journey. Because what happens when you start drinking water, there is all of these chemical reactions that happens in your body, and your body starts to, you don't digest water, right? Like, that's not what happens, but your body feels it's like, there's some something here is starting. Something here is starting. It's a great warm up. And what most people forget is that you've been dehydrated during the night, not by sweating, but by breathing. So in order for you to cause or to stop dehydration and to feel good throughout the rest of the day, you give the body first message you need water. After that, I go into the bathroom. This is literally from like exactly how I start my day and how I get so much things done. I clean my mouth with water, rinse my mouth with water, if that's how you say it, and then I scrape my tongue, a tongue scraper, which I highly fucking suggest everybody gets. Tongue scraper is a game changer for your oral health. Oral? Is that what they say? Mouth health, oral health, for oral health. Game changer. Most people don't notice, but the majority of the bacteria in your mouth stays on your tongue. Like, that's the majority of the bacteria. So you can get like yeast infections, you can get all types of crazy things in your mouth. So scrape my tongue to keep my mouth game on top. Then straight after that, I brush my teeth. What's up, Teresa? How are you doing? Hope you're doing good, Champagne. Teresa, what we are running over right now is how to optimize your day to establish incredible health habits. We're going step by step on how I set up my entire day. Then I brush my teeth, but I don't use toothpaste. Key, I don't use toothpaste. You can understand why in a little bit. That is just the cue. That's just the cue to my brain to wake up. Like, I gotta actively be there. If you wanna like really like charge your brain up, you brush your teeth with your left hand. That's if you're like with opposite hand. After that, you can understand why I'm doing this later, because I keep drinking water. That's the key. And you don't want to drink water straight after you brush your teeth, because then you just swallow the toothpaste for no reason. Yes? This is not one. Diana, you turn your camera off, Champagne. We don't want you to crash. You pay attention. Put that camera down, girl. Not doing that. Not today. How are you driving? With your niece? What's going on? Diana's with us. That's most important. After I brush my teeth, becomes another health hack. I get my goofy ass right in the shower and I take a cold shower. Yes, I shower even if I'm gonna go and train, which I will. Doesn't matter. The cold shower is not for like skin health. It's to wake up. It's to wake up. It's to shock your body. Is it uncomfortable, guys? I live in Africa. That's how much I love the warm weather. I moved to Africa from Scandinavia. That's how much I love heat. Like, when we are swimming, I'm with people that are from here, that are born and bred in Cape Verde, and I get colder before them. Like, I get cold. Like, I'm not a guy that likes cold water. I hate cold water, and that's the reason why I'm doing it. That's exactly the reason why I get my ass in the inside of cold shower. Again, I'm not showering. Like, I'm waking up, right? This is not a shower for shower. This is a shower to wake up. Number one. Number two, it gives a lot of health benefits with doing cold showers. And you do for me, what is one of the most mentally hard things for me to do, I do it first thing in the morning. So like I'm putting my mind to, hey, we're overcoming difficult tasks today. Don't worry about it. So you set the tone for yourself, right? I forgot to say, but I also make my bed. But that's me. That one is so given. Like that's the first. Like I get my ass out of bed and make your bed. Like don't think about it. Make your bed. Done. After the cold shower, I do my morning movements. I do morning movements for 20 minutes. Been doing it for years, and the 20 minutes is about how long I feel is like good for me. And during that time, my question is never how flexible am I? How much can I push myself? What I ask myself is, where am I? Like, how does my body feel from yesterday's workout? Today, for example, I do have a set of routine that I do, stretching routine I do every morning. And it was called Kinstretch, which is essentially I'm doing my best to strengthen my joints. But if, like today, for example, I felt a little tweak in my knee, like I said, I haven't been dancing as I danced yesterday for at least a year and a half. And when I say a year and a half, it's like I did it one time. A year and a half ago, 2 summers ago, I was in Sweden. I had one cycle, like I was dancing one time, one street circle, like when we dance in the circle on streets. I did that one time, and then before that was like at least 8 months. Like no, before that it was COVID, and I was traveling, and it was in Malta. I didn't dance in Malta, so that was probably another year. Why did I say that? Yeah, because I felt a little tweak in my knee. But then I'm like, cool. So morning movement give me a moment to check in with myself and navigate around what's up with like my body, right? So today I did a little bit more knee focus. I also do a lot of breathing. I focus on taking deep breaths. I'm focusing on taking really like recharging my body. And I breathe in through my nose and out through my mouth. Why? Because I need to consciously focus to do that, right? And then you fall off, you forget it, and all of that, and that's completely fine. After that, I like hear how my morning is habit stacked. Like so far, I've been doing morning. I've been doing my oral hygiene, cold shower, water, stretching, morning movement. So straight after that, I go into meditation. Straight after that, I do at least 10 minutes of meditation. I don't use timer anymore when I meditate. So it can vary between 12 or 10 to all the way to, sorry, probably all the way up to 15, 20 minutes sometimes. And it's just, I have a way of meditating that I learned, that's called a number meditation, that I learned from an actual guru from Bali when I used to live in Malta. Me and David used to go and practice meditation together with him. But you can Google it, it's called numbers meditation. Any meditation goes perfect. Yeah. So I also add some mindfulness inside there. And before that meditation, I'm doing alternating nostril breathing, which is essentially that I breathe out from one nostril, and I breathe in, and I breathe out from the other one. Breathe in, change nostril, breathe out. Like pretty straightforward, right? So I'm breathing like this, essentially. Alternating nostrils. It helps you to get deeper into the meditation. It sounds crazy, but it works. Here's the key. Breathe, meditation. Boom. After that, I drink my first coffee. It's like 1 out of 2 coffees I have during the entire day. If I'm really rocking it, like today, I didn't sleep a lot, I drink 3. But then that's if I'm pushing it. Usually I'm around 2, 3. And I'm drinking this coffee because I'm going to go and work out. So I take my pre-workout. Coffee is my pre-workout. All right. Coffee is also a life enhancer. Sounds crazy, but I read a meta-analysis which is an analysis that is analyzing. Analysis is like an analysis. Help me, Alinda. Come on, girl. What are we doing here? What am I saying?
Analysis, analyses, like a plural, like
Plural,
multiple
analyses.
analyses.
A meta-analysis is an analysis that is analyzing analyses. What did you say?
Analyses, I guess, yeah.
Analysis, yeah. So you take 120 different analyses, researches, you're analyzing those, and you draw a conclusion from that. That's a meta-analysis. So that states that people that drink 2 to 3 cups of coffee per day actually lives longer and have healthier hearts. That's why I drink coffee. Honestly, I didn't drink coffee before that. I just started drinking coffee when I was 28, I think. And it was after I read that thing. So I said, hey, look, can I live longer and have energy? Win. Sign me up. After that, I brushed my teeth again. This time with toothpaste. Because it also gives you like your body a wake-up call, right? Imagine what a trigger toothpaste is. It's something that you use every day, twice every day since you're a kid. So when you do that, it sends something to the body. Like it's such a trigger. And I don't want to drink all of it. It's not healthy to drink it, right? And just imagine how much water I've been drinking. Like at this moment, I'm almost 1 liter deep. Like I'm almost 1 liter deep of water for sure at this moment. Like I keep drinking all the time. Keep drinking. Then I hit the gym. I'm a morning workout guy. I'm a morning workout for sure. With this, you're also gonna be able. I'm gonna continue to drag out my entire day, but also gonna give you an opening where you can do your evening workout also. There's 2 versions of this thing. Right? And during my gym, I listen to audiobooks. Like I don't listen to music anymore. I listen to audiobooks, podcasts, really just to learn as much as I can and pick out tidbits, right? It's not obviously as effective to listen to a podcast or a book at the gym versus having a pen and paper and listening to it focused at home. Makes sense, right? But you pick up some things. Like I picked up really strong concepts from being at the gym. So highly recommend that. So I do that straight after or during the gym. And in order for you to get the most out of your training, just follow a plan. Have a systematic approach. Like I rather, like at the moment where I am in my life right now, and this is not advice for anyone, but this is just my honest truth right now. I rather change my workout day than do a gym without a plan. Like that's just where I am right now in my mind. Something is always better than nothing, but having my skills when it comes to training and my knowledge, I'd rather just change my rest day and get a full workout in. I don't want to go and do 45 minutes, like wing it, me personally. This is not advice for you guys. This is just where I am in my training journey. So point being, follow a strict plan. Don't wing it. Follow a plan, something that is systematic. Yes? Then I come home and I read. Because after gym, I'm fucked. Because during the gym, I'm also recording content. So like now it's probably like 7:30. I've been awake 2 hours, and I've so far drank, because at the gym I drink at least a liter again. So, and I'm counting all of this. Like this is conscious effort from my side. So 2 hours deep of my day, I've been training, meditating, stretching, reading, listening to an audiobook, recorded content, probably fucking edited the content, and done like my morning routine with my scrape my tongue and all that stuff. Now it's 2 hours deep. Like I am tired at this time. Like again, like it's not. I don't come home. Me where I am in my training, I don't come home energized from the gym. But what I do then is that I usually or I keep fasting or I break my fast. Now I want to put on muscles. I'm not cutting like heavily right now, which means that I want something in my system. So I have a protein shake at that time. I don't want carbs during the morning, because if I eat carbs now, I'm gonna get tired. Is this making sense so far, guys? Perfect. Because if you start to eat carbs, you know the feeling you get, like you get tired after eating a heavy meal. Is the carbs. You get an insulin spike, and your body has to digest it. So I usually have eggs in the morning or a protein shake. Right. Then I also take all of my vitamins, and I eat a lot of vitamins, and this is one of the reasons I stay so healthy that I do. I take I take B12, I take zinc, I eat calcium, I eat vitamin C, I eat vitamin D, and magnesium. The only one I can skip is vitamin D, and that is if I know I've been outside without a shirt for more than 20 minutes. Outside without a shirt for more than 20 minutes, then I don't take vitamin D. But just when I go on my quick swims during daytime, I still take vitamin D. And again, I want to emphasize that I live in Africa. So I live in a very, very sunny country. So if you have any heritage of anything outside of like Northern Europe, even your Northern Europeans should eat vitamin D. You should eat vitamin D. Like, you are goofy if you're listening to this webinar and you don't eat vitamin D within a month from now, within a week from now. Like, vitamin D deficiency is a big thing. It causes depression. It causes tons of different like skin diseases. The main treatment of COVID was vitamin D and high dosage of vitamin C. I want to point out that me and David, we have been healthy throughout this entire thing. And we've been traveling the world. You didn't once see me hiding inside. I was traveling, I was out partying, which is my life just as normal. Only thing I added was heavy dosage of vitamin C and B12. That's it. Everything else was, and we stayed healthy, and we're going to continue to stay healthy. Okay, after this, now it's time to work. Fun is over. I rested. Work time. Fast forward midday. All right, fast forward midday. And even when I work, we have not been the best at this lately. I'm going to be completely transparent. But usually, I have planned this the day before. Usually, I plan the 3 things I'm going to come to the day before. But like for today, for example, I didn't plan that because I was spontaneously went out dancing. What ends up happening? My day is not as productive. My day is just not as productive as I didn't plan the day before. It is what it is. And that's true. When I come to work with a plan, again, planning is key. If I come to work with a plan, it's much easier to commit to executing on those things. It takes away the transaction period. Familia, is this making sense? It's kind of hard to know if it's making sense because we're 13 of us, 3 of us are having the cameras on. I'm not really sure what the rest of you guys are up to. Come on, what are we doing? Keep the cameras on. Put them on. Put them on. I'm gonna ask everyone to turn them on. What are we doing? Can I mass ask everybody to put your cameras on? What is this? Come on, guys. Come on. Perfect. What's up? What's good in the hood? Baby, you take your camera off if you're driving. If you're driving, you put both your hands on the steering wheel. We don't have time. Peace out. What's up, Teresa? How are you doing?
Really nice enjoying. What?
I'm glad to hear that. No, I'm good. I'm glad to hear that you're enjoying.
You good? Yeah, like I'm just turning off my camera because it uses quite a lot of data, but I'll do you a favor and turn it on for a second. Yeah,
don't worry,
I'm good. I'm good. Enjoying like Mexico City.
That's
got to work.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm fine.
That's beautiful. All of this is making sense, guys, correct? Like, you understand you see the power of the habit stacking that I'm doing? Do you understand why I'm doing what I'm doing? Do you understand the thought process and the science behind why I'm doing what I'm doing so far? Like, it's really important. Like, these are These are habits that I established consciously after reading a ridiculous amount of literature when it comes to biohacking, productivity, training. It's not random, right? Everything so far hasn't been, nothing has been random. Like what I eat, why I eat, what I eat, light exposure that I get early on in the day. Like I forgot to say that, but when I go into the toilet and I do my I do the yes, the morning, like
Teeth
the oral,
brushing.
oral. Thank you. Teeth brushing. I put the light on. That's the first time I turn the lights on, because then I'm gonna spend some time in the toilet, and that's when I like, when you put the blue lights on, it sends signals to your body, so your body says wake up. You start to produce melatonin. It's like, whoa, like I'm here. Yeah. And then I'm inside of when I do my stretching, like you need to remember, like it's 5:30 in the morning, the sun is not up, so there's no sun, so we fake it. Yes. Keep in mind that not once did you hear me say I'm picking up my phone. I don't touch my phone until I'm at the gym. Yes. So right about now we are midday. So now I'm jumping in between two parts. But Teresa, you wanted to ask something?
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to this later on. I think your routine makes perfect sense. Sounds really impressive. Sounds very productive. I'm kind of envious. But how did you get there? Like, how much time does it take you to build this routine, and what
That's
were
a
the
great
first
question.
steps? Because you can't go like from zero to waking up at
Nah,
5:30 and doing all of that.
Nah, 100%. That's a great question. So I'm gonna write that up, and then I'm gonna come back to that one. All right. And if I don't, remind me, please. This is gonna be Q&A then. Establishing these habits. So, boom! It's midday, 12 o'clock. Right about now, it's time for me to do my midday meditation. I don't always meditate midday. If I don't meditate, I take a nap. Nap for me, 10 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes if I'm fucking tired. Like if you see me napping more than 10 minutes, it's like, he's going through some shit. He was up late, or he didn't sleep well, or he's pushing his brain right now. And I sleep like a homeless person everywhere. Like I don't know if you guys are following me on Instagram, you see me posting like my naps lately. Like I sleep with a pillow on the floor. Like, and if I don't have a pillow, I sleep on the desk if I need to. Like I do not care. Because then you have people that say, yeah, but I don't fall asleep when I nap. No, of course you don't. What's the point? No, I don't deep sleep within 10 minutes. It's like pass out sometimes. But there's different layers of resting, right? There's different layers of like of sleeping, of recharging. Yes. So even if you just reach level 1, still something. Still get charged up, and that's the most important part. That's why I do what I do. You know what I mean? And if I want to meditate, and I'm at the office now, for example, I work open office space. Like I'm a strange guy. Like I would just close my eyes and do it right here if I felt like it. But I like privacy when I do my meditation. I just go to the toilet. I just do meditation inside of the toilet. It's like just 5 minutes. Nobody has ever questioned anyone. Like, what did you do at the toilet 5 minutes? And if you have those people around you, then cut them out of your life. You cut them out. They're like, who's your coach? But I don't have time to meditate. I'm at work. Wait, you don't have time to go to the toilet at work? What are you talking about? Like, find a solution. Find a place where you can be alone. 5 minutes. Yeah, but what type of meditation? Any type of meditation works perfect. Just go on YouTube if you're not familiar with meditation. Just go on YouTube and search 5-minute guided meditation. Great ones. There's a woman called Emily Fletcher. She's a great guided meditation teacher. There's a man called Jason Stephenson, who's also a great meditation teacher. Guided, love them both. Boom. Now fast forward. Now it's like 12 or 2 o'clock. Between 12 and 2 o'clock is when all of this is happening in my life. Now I have lunch. Now I eat some carbs. Now I need to eat some carbs in order for me to reach my macros. I eat some carbs, and I also train if I didn't train in the morning, and I'm gonna do some shit at night. Okay. Now I work for myself, so I can do that. I know that everybody cannot. But I know that Linda is doing her work at that office, so you can find a solution. Yes. Also, great time to do some extra cardio, get your ass outside, walk a little bit, do some nice stuff. Now we fast forward until 6, 7 p.m. Okay, I'm usually working until 7, 8, around there. 6 and 8, that's when I get off work usually. But that's when I leave the office at least. Then I come home, I eat, and then I dance or work out. So here you have some time, right? Like they give you some time now to flex before bedtime. Dance, work out, smoke a cigar, read a book. Don't fucking watch Netflix. You know what I mean? Like don't come on. Don't throw your life away to Netflix. I mean that's obviously a completely 100% your own choice, but I don't recommend it or suggest it to basically anyone. Then I ate again, like I said, and then if I didn't reach my macros, I have a protein shake again at this time. Right, so I have 2 protein shakes per day, usually. Is this the most healthy thing? No. Do I need it? Yeah, because I'm working. If you're doing what I do, training like I'm training, have the size that I have, and you need to reach your amount of macros or the amount of proteins in order for you to keep growing muscles, it takes quite a lot. It honestly takes quite a lot for me to get up there in those amounts. And I am the type of guy that fucking forgets to eat. Like I forget to eat all the time. Like frequently, I forget to eat. Like I forgot to eat today. True story. True story. Oh, my goal was to have lunch before dinner before this. Forgot to eat. Today I ate for one time. I ate one time today. Yeah, I had one meal today. I forget to eat frequently. Miss lunch, miss dinner. Now I'm still gonna reach my macros, don't worry about it. But I know it's a mission for me to, when I get off this, it's like, protein. First thing I do as soon as I eat is I take a protein shake. 40 grams of protein straight in my system. Then I'm gonna go to a restaurant and have dinner. Because we forgot to let the chef in. We forgot to we messed up with the logistics with our chef today, unfortunately. So we don't have to. So with that being said, you gotta, like, it takes what it takes for me to get there. So eating like 2 protein shakes, I mean, it's arguably not good for you, but I'd like to argue that it's, in my situation, it's the best solution for the moment. What's up, Teresa?
I was wondering, like this might sound very dumb, why
worry.
all my attempts to do these rigorous routines in the morning usually don't work is due to social life, which takes place in the evening, like until 10 p.m., 11 p.m., and then it's kind of impossible to get up at 5, 6. How do you do that? Because you don't mention anything like social life in your routine. Do you have any social life?
No, I sacrifice. That's a good question. That's a good question. I do, definitely do. I have it stacked. I have it stacked. I train with my friends. I dance with my friends. Today I'm gonna have dinner with friends. But when my alarm rings and says go to sleep, I know I have about an hour of transition time between where I am until I get to bed, until it's time for me to go to bed. And then it's really like, hey guys, you know what? I gotta go to bed. Like, see you later. Because everybody in my life, if you're in my circle, you know what I'm about to accomplish here. You know my ambitions, you know where I'm heading, you know my goals. Because if you can't, and if you are working against that, we just need to, sooner than later, we might as well, like, yeah, what are we doing? It's like, let's just not build this friendship deeper. And like, you still have
Okay.
time, like, because you still have time. That's the thing. So when you use this, again, like, waking up at 5:30 is not a productivity hack. It's not a tool that works. It works for me because I'm the most productive during the mornings, and I feel good doing that. So it works for me right now, but I'm not sure if I would recommend that for you, Teresa, because it depends on where you are in your life. So maybe you are the type of person that really wants to social dance, right? And you know that fuels you. So and you know that like 11, 12 is when the social dance ends. But then I will be the person that cuts it short at 11. And that gives me from 6 or from 11 to 12, I'm home. I give myself an hour to get my ass home and go to bed within an hour. But then I wake up at 7. So I still sleep 7 hours, right? So it's not waking up early that's hard. It's going to bed early that's hard. But then again, I have a killer Saturday. I mean, I have so much fun on Saturdays. I plan it. I just always do something fun on Saturdays. If it's partying, if it's an adventure, if it's whatever it is. And Sunday, I always do something fun also. So I have 2 days of leisure time, like almost 2 full days. Now I work a lot. Like, keep that in mind. I like to work.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah. Good. Glad. I'm just gonna finish all of these guys, and then we're gonna run into questions. Okay? I'm just gonna finish my entire day so we get a full view of everything, and then finish it. Protein. Boom. Protein shake if needed. What's up, Bookie? Hope you're doing good as well this game. Then I read again, or I plan my day for tomorrow. Or before that, sorry, I plan my fucking day for tomorrow. It's super important because I'm more productive like that. And if I list like 3 things, I'm gonna have a webinar. I'm gonna celebrate my friend's birthday, and I'm gonna write the captions for all of my Instagrams, for example. Or I'm gonna answer you guys in the app. I'm gonna write captions for Instagram. I'm gonna do the 3rd thing. Okay? So these are like tasks that I know I'm gonna accomplish. If I accomplish these things, then I know I'm gonna have a successful day. Does that make sense? Perfect. Then my alarms rings at 9:30, and I don't question my alarm because it's a deal I already made with myself. And then I go to bed. My alarm goes off at 9:30. And there's many days when I go to bed and my alarm rings and I'm like, fuck, like I went to bed before my alarm. Now that works for me. It does not work for everyone. But I don't let life control me. I want to control my life. This gives me, I believe that structure gives me freedom. So if I have a structured day, that means I can flex with it. I can move around with it. All right. And because, would you like, don't you ever have time for spontaneity or whatever that word is, being spontaneous? They're like, yes, I do. Why? Because I live like this. When I have a friend like today, for example, who has a birthday, and he says, hey guys, I want to party tonight. And he's like one of my 4 friends. If he tells me this today, I party. If my friends want to go out today on Monday, I party. Why? Because I live my life like this all the time. So if one of my 4 friends tells me, I want to party tonight, I tell him, you know what, bro? I don't, but I got you. Because I live the majority of my days like this. Does that make sense? So then I went to again, then I go to bed, and I repeat the whole thing tomorrow. So that begs the question, right? How do you start? How do you start? And when you spend time with friends? Let's talk about establishing new habits first. There's a great book called Automatic. Automatic? No, Atomic.
Atomic Habits.
Thank you. What's the name of the author, Teresa? Remember? Steven something, right? I don't remember. James?
James Clear.
No, I don't.
James Clear.
James Clear. Fantastic book. Fantastic book. And I always talk about habit stacking, and I think that's my number one takeaway from that book, honestly. But what you need to do is that you need to find your ideal. Okay, so instead of thinking, I'm not going to give you like do this, then do that, do this, then do that. You create your ideal. So here's how I think. Here's how I think when it comes to like becoming a new person or reinventing yourself or establishing new habits. Create your ideal person, day, habit, mind frame. And then you practice being that person. You practice being that person. And you say, okay, I'm going to practice being that person for one morning. What's my perfect morning? Oh, it's like this. Got it. And then you practice that. You do it one time. And then you practice. I'm going to practice the same thing tomorrow. You commit to it. And then you do the same thing the day after. And then 3 days from now, you're going to fail. So, fuck, I didn't do it. Okay, why didn't you do it? No, because I woke up late. Okay, why did you wake up late? Oh, because I was out dancing. Okay, got it. So what do I do when I wake up late and I go out dancing? Okay, do I need to cut my morning routine short? Nah. Okay, maybe I should start my day later. Maybe I should sleep longer then. Maybe during the days after I'm out dancing, I shouldn't wake up or I shouldn't do my morning training. Maybe I should train in the afternoon. Okay. So it gives you this flexibility and understanding everything. You guys need to know that I am spending a ridiculous amount of time thinking about how to have as much fun and optimizing my life as possible. Like you need to know that I'm the majority of the days in my life during these last 10 months, I go to the beach. Like the majority of the day during these last 10 months, I'm meeting friends out. Nah, that's a lie. That's a lie. That was a goddamn lie. That was a damn lie. That was a lie. I have dated. I have a little hack. I have dated. But when David was gone, like I'm like, let me see, what am I trying to say here? What I'm trying to say is that you got to understand again what works for you. This is what I'm saying. It is like establishing new habits is all about creating the ideal and then practicing becoming that person. And you keep practicing, you keep practicing, you keep practicing, you keep practicing, and then sooner than later you are that person. So it's not about faking it until you're making it, it's about practicing until you're becoming it. Doing it until you're becoming it. And it's like, okay, but how much social life do you have? Me, personally, very little. Why? I'm willing to sacrifice it. I'm willing to make that sacrifice right now. And I'm completely fine with it. But that's me. So you shouldn't look at me. I'm living my personal ideal as I would want to live when I'm 31. You should look yourself in the mirror, do the movie ending, respect the flow of life, which is another tool, knowing where you are on the timeline of your life, and it's like, hey, look, I now, for you, for example, Teresa, hi, I now live in Mexico City. What do I want to accomplish here? Fluent Spanish. Got it. Maybe I shouldn't wake up at 5:30 in the morning. Why? Because in fucking Mexico City, everybody goes to bed at like 1. So it means that everything starts later, which means that everybody's is awake later. And I want to be out communicating with people to practice my Spanish. So maybe I should wake up later also. You know, so you just move your day and form it after where you are. During this summer, I was awake earlier or later because I wanted to practice Creole. Now I reached the level of Creole. I'm not fluent at all, but I'm here talking to, I'm doing interviews in Creole. Like I reached that level within 10 months. So at the moment, I'm like, good. For the next 3 months, it's not my main focus because I'm out talking on the streets all the time. So I know where I am on the timeline of life. That's the first, like those are the 2 first tips. So habits, 3 first. We have habit stacking. Again, all about establishing new habits and becoming that person. Habit stacking, 1. Number 2, practicing until you're becoming it fully. Number 3, knowing where you are on the timeline of life, right? So David was traveling during the summer. So I said, you know what? I'm going to spend a lot of fucking time alone and I'm going to be out later. Why? Because then I can practice my Creole, which I did a lot, and I improved fuckloads. And now it's a different moment. Now it's more like, okay, but we want to focus on work. And then my Creole is not going to take a damage, but my development might slow down unless I find a way to hack it. So I'm always trying to hack things. Okay? Then my next step is that I have alarms on my watch. My watch goes off all the time, but it's a silent vibrator. And I know what it means. Sometimes it can just be focus on deep breathing. Sometimes it can be just have a thought, like I want to remind myself of a thought or an act I want to become better at. You know? But you have to master all of this is really that you have to, it's a sacrifice. Like it's an offering I do for the success that I want. I want this. Perfect. What am I willing to sacrifice? What offering am I willing to give to the world or to God or universe, whatever, to get this thing? Yo, I'm willing to get this. To get this, I'm willing to sacrifice all of this. I'm willing to sacrifice all of this. And I made peace with that. Me personally. Like you need to know, guys, I haven't been in the same country as my mom, my sister, my brother, my youngest brother, or my father, any of my family members. None, not even once for for the last 7 years. 7 years I've been to 1 birthday of my family. 2 birthdays. I'm lying. For the last, I haven't fucking been to any of the birthdays of any of my family members except 2. It was my mother's 50-year-old birthday and my sister's 22. Since I was 19. And my father's 60, so 3. In 12 years, I've been to 3 birthdays. I'm good with it. It sucks ass, and I love my family. Like you know me, you know how much much of a family guy I am. I love them, but I'm willing to make that sacrifice, and I'm good with it. Like it is what it is, because I don't put too much emphasis on immediate gratification. Number 1, I don't need immediate gratification. I don't need to be the richest person right now. Let's talk when I'm 40. I don't need to be the most rich person right now or the most healthy person right now. Let's talk when I'm 80. Let's talk when we're 90 and I'm doing cartwheels. You have a hard time going to the bathroom. Let's talk then. That's what I care about. So I don't emphasize too much on immediate gratification And I've admitted to my desires. Like I don't fight my desires. I've admitted to, I'm gonna say 99% of them. Like I've admitted to my mom, it's like, look, I said this multiple times. Mom, like right now, like this is more important to me than this. Like right now, my company matters more than your birthday. Like I love you, but I'm not coming home to Sweden. You're not even for a week. I can come the weekend after. Why? Because it makes more sense where I am company wise. So I just admit to my desires, and my desires is to accomplish like, spectacular things and live an absolutely fucking incredible life. I value that, and on a piece of paper and in my mind, I want to say family first. But then I look at my actions and I can't back that up. Like I can't. I just couldn't. Family first would mean that I live in Sweden. I don't live in Sweden. I have no plans of moving back to Sweden. And then I can justify it saying like, yeah, but I'm doing all of this because of, like I want to, I do this because then I can build an empire for my family. Look, my family's not going to live in Cape Verde. Like that, the other side of my family has zero ties to Cape Verde except me. So it's an egotistical thing. So family first, yes, but Sebastian before family. Sandra, peace out. Take care. Thank you for joining. Is this making sense, guys? So it's like the actions gotta match your ambitions. So if it's family first, then I should live with family. No? And like I love my family. Make no mistake about it. Like I have my entire family tattooed all over my body. So family first, yes. But I also have desires. And I've admitted to all of them. Yeah. Did that answer your questions, Teresa?
Yeah, like I think it kind of really helps to be like there's no blueprint, but like, you actually have to think about what works right now. I was just laughing about that family example because when I was studying far away from my family, I'd fly home regularly for birthdays, being like, yeah, it's a priority.
That's you. Yeah, and I love that. I love that for you. That's awesome. I think that's incredible. I'm just not that guy. And they're not bad or good or because here's the thing, and this is what I don't like about like self-development gurus or fucking people in my field, right? They're like, no, but you gotta sacrifice it. My dad died and I didn't went to the funeral. It's like, oh, that's kind of a fucking asshole move, don't you think? Like, no, but I had this one meeting that I had to go to. It's like, got it. Sounds like that sucks ass to me. What the fuck? Like, you didn't want to do that? Like, it's not like I want to live personally. I can skip a birthday. I can skip 10 birthdays if I need to. But that's just me. No, you tell me I went to every birthday. I flew home to every birthday. Like, oh, fun. That's awesome. Sounds like a woman with a lot of integrity who knows what the fuck she wants. Crazy? I mean, works for her. So who am I to judge? Would I do the same? Fuck no. Why? It doesn't serve me. It doesn't serve me. It doesn't serve Sebastian. It doesn't work for me at all. Works for her? Wow, incredible. Why? Because balance is an individual thing. It's an individual thing. Because you have these assholes that sit on Instagram and says like, no, but you got to sacrifice everything. No, you don't. No, you don't. You got to sacrifice the things that are not working in your favor in order to get to your goal. That's what you got to sacrifice. Yeah, but you will miss birthdays. Yeah. If you don't make birthdays a priority. It's like, yeah, but how do you lose weight? But you will lose birthdays. People will look at you strange. It's like, no, they won't. If you're straight up honest with people in your close circle, And you tell them, hey, look, I'm on this health train right now. I'm not gonna do what I did before. I'm doing this and this and this. Deal with it. And maybe gonna tease you a little bit because they are your friends, but then sooner than later they will accept it. And if they don't accept it, I mean, then you have a different problem. You know, then you have a different problem. Then you have a friend problem. You know what I mean? It's like then you got to look at yourself in the mirror. I know you wanted. I knew you wanted to speak. I knew you wanted to talk about this one. But and that's the thing. Like you get a friend problem. You're gonna get a balance problem. No, it's different. Tell me, Karen.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about how what you're saying relates to what you want to accomplish, but it's also like goes into food, because it's, you know, if you have a clear vision of where you want to go, then the sacrifice, like that, this topic of sacrifices and what you have to do and like what works for you, it's like you kind of have to decide of what that is and what that sort of what those boundaries are. I was thinking about how you said you morning, but I know I need a little bit of carbs because otherwise I'm hungry like just like an hour later. But but my limit is, you know, half a piece of toast as opposed to, you know, cereal and
bread.
so it's figuring out those priorities wise too.
Yeah, 100%. Because these are, again, guys, everything we're talking about, and this is one of the things that I have like maybe I should verbalize them better, but I think it's clear. At least we've been spending a little bit of time with us here, and like my teachings is like it's macro concepts. All of these are macro concepts that we're talking about. Like these things of like structure and habits and the amounts of fuck you can give. Like you can't give a fuck about everything. I think it wasn't that many weeks ago we spoke about this. Like I have a fuck no list. Like I have a fuck no list that I'm like, fuck no, I don't engage in this. Like I got out of a fight. I got out of a street fight before because it was like, no, fuck no, I do not engage in this. This is other people's problem. Take care, Teresa. Peace out. You know? And like I have so many things. It's like you gotta know your values, what you value, and then you gotta know like what am I willing to sacrifice? Or what am I willing to like I'm willing to let this shit go. Like there's a, let's see if I can walk from that example. Like, yeah, I have a friend, or it used to be a friend, that decided that I was the devil. I have a friend that's from my life. Good, she was a good friend. Who I trained her. So who was a friend, and then I also trained her. And I told her in the beginning, it's like, look, I don't like to train friends. I don't want to do it. And she begged and begged and begged, and like I kept saying, it's like I don't want to, like me training you is gonna come at the cost of our friendship. He's like, no, but la la la. Like, cool, let me do this. Knowing so much would happen. Terrible student. My worst student. Because I don't do in-person training. Now I have few people that I train, but this one was my worst student ever. Like, didn't show up in time. I had to go and pick her up at training, could arrive an hour late, just ghosted me. Terrible student. And then I came to her place, and she had a lot of mental problems also, mental issues. I went to her place several times and like had long conversations, way more than I should have. But I did that, and then she misbehaved so much. I had to went to her and I had a conversation. She's like, look, I can't train you anymore. Like this is getting out of hand. Like this is not what I signed up for. Like, this is not what I want. And I said it in a nice way. She's like, no, but like I'll be better. I'll be better. I said, no, this is not working. We're not doing this anymore. And then one day, she sends me a voicemail. She says, hey, I think I'm like I think I'm going into a semi-depression. I don't want to do things anymore, la la la. But I want to hire you for your service. I want you to come to my place every day, 7 o'clock in the morning, and I want to train with you every day, 7 o'clock. And I responded, I pick up my phone, I'm like, hey, let's talk in person. We didn't talk in person. So instead I sent a voicemail and I said, hey, look, I know that me coming to your door, knocking on your door every day, training with me every day, that's not gonna help you. That's not what you need right now. You don't have a physical problem, you have a mental problem. But I would love to be able to be there for you and point you in the right direction and help you choose a trainer that is fitting for you at another gym, because I don't think the gym that we're training at right now is good for you, because you are too busy thinking about what everybody's thinking about you than actually thinking about improving yourself. And then I think you should take my mental discipline program. I think that those things will definitely help you. And then we can set up sessions and we can talk. Done. That was a great answer. Crickets. Week 1. Crickets. Doing nothing. I go to a door and knock on their door. Don't answer. Now I know the valet. How do you call it? The guard on the first floor. I know him. So I'm like, where is she? He's like, oh, she's home. I'm like, ah, it's strange. Didn't open her door. I go back, I go home, do my thing, call her, she don't answer. Call her, crook, 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 crook. Still crickets 2 times, call again, 3 times, crickets. Go to her door, knock on the door again. Crickets, don't answer. Call her, call her, call her, call her. I called her more than 7 times, no answer. Sooner or later, I sent a text message like, hey, what's happening? Like, I'm worried about you. I haven't heard anything for weeks. What's going on? And I said it's very good, because I know how it is to be fucking depressed. So I'm like, hey, maybe she's actually dealing with some real mental issues this time, because all the other times it was false alarm. Like I'm leaving out a lot of details about like how it was with me fucking training her. Like it was I'm leaving out all of those details because I don't want to. It's not a Bible. I don't know. It's not a Bible school here. Then after I get a low, like fast forward, like then I meet her and she's like, yeah, I'm disappointed at people. Not once was disappointed at me. It's like, I'm disappointed at people. I'm like, all right, cool. Why are you disappointed at people? It's like, I'm disappointed at people because of my expectations. I'm like, all right, okay, cool. So it's not the people's fault, it's your expectations' fault, right? Like, maybe the people caused it, but I mean, your expectations is your emotions. So, I mean, that's your own responsibility, isn't it? Like, yeah, it's true, it's true, it's true. Okay, cool. Went on. Months happen, 3 months in the future, 2 or 3 months into the future. Then I get a long text message saying like, hey, you are not family. You are doing only this because of financial gains. You are this person. You just want to use people to your advantage. La 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 la. You are this. You are that. You only blah. I look at David. I look at my phone, and then I'm like, bro, like I don't even know what to say. Like, what should I do here? He's like, just leave it and we deal with that. So we left the phone and we dealt with it. No, lies, because I called. No, I sent a text message because it was this long message of how bad I am as a person. And I sent a text message saying, hey, I think we should talk about this in person. Are you free? I'm traveling right now, but are you free? Are you available on Tuesday? Crickets. Crickets. Not a goddamn word, not an answer. So you had the audacity to send out this long message on how bad I am, and then there's consequences, and you don't want to deal with the consequences. David goes there a couple of days after. He needs to pick up some shit. He goes there, picks up some shit. Then he started talking, la la. And David is like very logical. Like, okay, but what happened? This happened. Okay, but that's not true. No, okay, it's not. And then la la la. It's like, yeah, but I really want us to talk. This and this. And then I told David, I'm like, bro, like honestly, like our friendship is over. Our friendship is over. Like we can rebuild some things, but do I want? Like as for now, fuck no. But I'm gonna leave that to future Sebastian for decide to make a future Sebastian. I trust that he will make a firm decision. But right now it's like, yeah, I don't want that. I don't what? Like now it's about my integrity. It's like you're gonna throw all of these things at me after I did all of those things in the past, and then you're gonna throw these things at me, tell me how bad I am. No, but now it's about my integrity. Why? Because I value my integrity more than my fears. Like I really value my integrity right now because I fucked up my integrity in my previous relationship badly. So I really value that. Like I've been working on that. Right? Did that make sense? So it's a big difference of like I value my integrity and other people's negativity. Fuck no. Like we met. Like I was there saying like, hey, like what's going on? Like why don't you talk to me? Like what are you doing? Stop being silly. If I hurt you, tell me, explain to me so I can explain to you. Because I know I didn't do anything wrong. And that's the beautiful thing with living in the truth. Because I know I didn't fuck up. I know I didn't do it. And I go to bed sleeping, smiling, and I wake up smiling. Why? Because I know I didn't do it. Why? Because I lived in my truth throughout this whole time. Now, if I would have like sneaked around and make like sneak lies, then that's different. So then to close this loop is like, I don't have a value problem. I have a friend problem. Does that make sense? Much like if you can't tell your fucking friends that, hey, I'm on this health train, I'm trying to lose some weight, or I'm on this health train, I'm trying to fucking save my life over here. I'm trying to, you know what I mean? Like become a better person. If they don't accept that and if they can't support you, you have a friend problem. That's different. That's different. I have so many examples of this. Like I posted on my Instagram the other day, there was someone asking like, oh, what do you, like I say this in my, again, I don't make anything definitive. Is that a word? Yeah. I don't make anything definitive. So I say that this is what I feel right now, but I'm gonna let future Sebastian decide what's right for us. I trust that guy. But as for right now, if I have a girlfriend tomorrow, I'm not gonna post her. I'm not gonna post it all over social media. As for right now, future Sebastian might change this, but as for right now, don't see any benefit of it. Last time I did it, didn't give me, didn't provide any value to my life. The time before that, didn't really provide any value either. Honestly, there was a lot of fights, more fights than fucking value. So it's like, nah, this time I'm just not gonna do it. Might change. But then it was someone who asked me, so I wrote this out and I said, hey, look, like this is my take on this. And somebody asked me, like, yeah, but what if your girl gets angry? What if she gets angry over you? It's like, hey, number one, I don't want a girl, I want a woman. That's the first step. And number two, if she gets angry, that anger is based in trust, that we have a trust issue. And that is being reflected into our relationship. And she thinks that a bandage to that is me posting her over social media. Me posting her over social media is not going to help a trust issue problem. So we have way more deeper problems than what's on the surface. This is not a problem of social media. This is a trust issue problem. And that's what I need to deal with, not this shit up here. It's the same thing here. And that was a long story for saying that these are macro concepts that we're talking about. The more you hang around, the more you come to the webinars, and the more you start to understand these concepts, the more it all makes sense. Because it's like I have a lot of answers because I work in it's almost like it's not a framework, but yeah, it's kind of a framework. Yeah, it's like, did that make sense, guys? Like I felt a fucking ranted the last 5 minutes. Sorry, I apologize for those last 5 minutes. I felt it was a rant about, I don't know what that was, but I think it made sense. It made sense? Yeah.
Well, I think that I mean, you were showing your integrity.
Summarize my brain here, Linda. Come on, do some teacher stuff because my brain is all over the place. Do some
I
teacher
think you
shit.
were showing your integrity in your work with this person to, like you did your, obligation to help her, train and you like I think you kind of pursued her too much, actually, but
For
you gave her a lot of
for
chances.
sure.
You gave her a lot of chances. Though that when you said that thing about she texted you this long ass rant about what you did wrong. I mean, the good thing about technology is you can block people, and I just thought the first thing that came to my mind was like just block her.
Block her.
Because I mean, like anybody who ghosts you and then all of a sudden sends this really long thing after a really long time is just kind of like you have problems and it's not me. So bye-bye.
Facts.
As I
But then
was
here is the
listening,
thing is, keep going,
no, go
man.
ahead. No,
No,
go
no,
ahead.
I was gonna
No,
talk bullshit. So
Go.
keep going,
Go.
please. I have nothing important. Come on, okay. So I was gonna say, now I'm not gonna block her because now it's business. Now it's like, okay, well, yeah, we can be friends for business. It's like, oh, I'm an asshole. Like I'm only doing this for business opportunities. It's like, yeah, I will from now. It's like I will be straight up. It's like our friendship is broken. You throw that vase hard into the wall. This vase we cannot fix this shit with you. We can create a new vase maybe potentially in the future. But hey, you want to make business? Yeah, sure. Yeah, we can create a friendly business tone together. But friends, like I'm coming to your place and eat lunch. Like I'm gonna call you when my mom comes here in 2 weeks. Nah, fam. Nah, we good. So let's see what future Sebastian says. Diana, go. Diana.
Well, as I was listening to you, I just thought this is so much energy that you've put into this that is not like what you want to do with your life. This is not on your main drag. And
Sure.
I'm older than you are, Sebastian. And I am the kind of person that poured a tremendous amount of energy into relationships and friendships, especially. And then finally, I realized I had a similar thing happen in a particular relationship with someone that I had been friends with since childhood. And something happened, which I go into another time. But I got one of those very long texts where somebody just basically drinks a bottle of wine and I had just pulled up in my driveway. I looked at my front door and I said, by the time I get from my car to my front door, I want to forget this. And I said right then in my heart, I forgive you. I'm not going to hold anything in my heart or my head regarding this. I deleted it and I moved on. But the key thing is, and I did that with two people that I've had in my life since I was very young, like 6 or 7 years old. The other friend I had since the age of 13. And I jettisoned both of those relationships because of the amount of energy required. Then within, I don't want to exaggerate, within 6 years, I'm in medical school, which is something I've been wanting to do my whole life. And I realized that a lot of energy I was putting into these relationships was energy I was not putting into what I really wanted to do with my own life. So now it's like, you know what? You're either on this train or you're not.
Fuck it. It leaves me without you.
If you actually are there at your age, then kudos to you, because it took me a long time to get to that point. I wanted to bring everybody along with me. I finally it penetrated, like, you know what? It's just, if you're with me, you're with me. If you're not, you're not. And we're done.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just slide to the right. Don't worry about me. Just do your thing. Just keep going. Because you know what the worst thing with all of this is? I can't get that energy back. Like, I wasted so fucking much energy. Like for nothing. For nothing. It's like it's gone. It's like, oh, all the time I went to your home and knocked on your door and was there like a fucking homeless person. Like this is a charity event. Then it's like, yo, like, what? But again, let's see what future Sebastian says. I'm not gonna make anything final, but at the moment, nah, I'm good. Thank you so much. We keep strictly business.
Absolutely best wishes, no ill will,
Oh, yeah.
no nothing. I wish you absolutely the best. But I, you know, and again, I'm a Christian, so I always give a Christian example. Like, Jesus had 12 apostles, but you notice Judas was not in the inner circle. He had his inner circle that he poured himself into, and then there were the others. Yeah, Judas was there, but he didn't pour himself into him the way he did into his boys that he was really close with. And we can take that as an example. Everybody doesn't deserve to have you pour yourself into them, and that's a decision that you have to make, because we do have limited amount of resources. How are we going to deploy them?
How are we going to deploy our resources? That's a great question. That's a great question. That's a great question that you should constantly ponder upon. Yeah.
But you already knew, Sebastian, that, you know, that it was kind of, you know, I'm sure you, in your gut, you're just like, I don't know. And so that was, so it wasn't a hell yeah kind of thing. It should have been
no.
It
should have been a fuck no from the beginning. Yeah, exactly. It should have been a fuck no. Yeah. But then it's like, my father has this great expression that me and David use all the time. It's like, the dog is a dog. The dog, you can put a dog in fucking sheep outfit, in a cow outfit. A dog is a dog. And I know her past. I know this woman's past. So I shouldn't be surprised. And that's probably the reason why I'm like, it's like, I still had like an anxious, I had an anxious reaction to it, and I wanted to react. And I stopped, I put my phone away, I said, what the fuck am I doing? And like, go out, you know, take a breather, show David. Me and David bounce on thoughts back and forth. Just like, should I react to it? He's like, nah, just meet her in person. And it's like, yeah, I just gonna send the message. And then it's like, yeah, let's see what happens. Nothing happened. All right, cool. My life continues equally as good. Now, again, much love. Hope you're the best. Don't get more energy to spend. I'm trying to make some money. Trying to help some people. Trying to change the world for the better. Can't save you. Can't save your goofy ass. You don't want to. Strain is leaving with or without you. Ciao pescado, as they say in Spanish. And familia, with that being said, I thought this was going to be a short webinar. I do apologize. Thank you so much for being here. Love you guys a lot. Let me take a photo. And then I need to go and eat. Let's go for photos today. Today's photo time. 3, 2, 1. Nice. All right, boys and girls and women and men, Ciao, Pascal. See you in 2 weeks' time. Talk to you in the app. Remember, it's always by dancers for dancers. I love you guys a lot.